Positive Tails has grown tremendously from last year thanks to all the great donations and the people involved.
2015 was a really exciting year for Positive Tails. It was our first year of active operation, and we've been able to help a lot more animals and increase our reach.
What's been really satisfying is that we have a lot of the initial logistics hammered down. So this year, I think the emphasis was really on growth.
We were able to approve so many more cases this year. There's Max, hit by a car, unfortunately sustained some trauma to his eye. Through a funding from Positive Tails, made a full recovery. Little Tortellini was wrestling with her canine brother, broke her arm. Positive Tails allowed surgery to take place, and now she's fully healed. And then there's little Sweet Potato, poor 6-week-old kitten who was found the day before Thanksgiving after being attacked by an animal. She's now in a loving, warm home and never has to worry about being outside again.
This year, we were able to help so many more cases that we were able to reach out to. And it's nice to have Positive Tails as a go-to.
One of the cases I was really excited with this year was Chelsea, a 3-year-old pit bull that was found on a construction site. A worker brought her in and she had sustained a large number of wounds and injuries to her chest. Because we suspect either abuse or a trauma history, she was a perfect candidate for receiving funding. Walter's Tale is a branch of funding that helps animals that have been abused or suffer neglect. She stayed in the hospital for a couple of weeks to undergo surgeries to slowly have this wound heal, and eventually Chelsea found a home.
It was right before my birthday and I'd been saying that I wanted a dog, and we weren't sure, and then she found the event at Carroll Park, filled out the paperwork basically right away.
He was right at her and he was like, "She's my dog."
Everyone in the hospital fell in love with her, including another stray that was next door to her, another pit bull, and they would be walked together and they played together.
Gronk was craded next to her and we just heard how they became best friends.
And I was like, "Oh, well, why don't we just get both of them?"
Just couldn't split the two of them up.
And so now Chelsea and Gronk are an inseparable duo.
Ganesh's family were the victims of an apartment fire. Unfortunately, they lost everything in the fire.
It was on November 2nd.
They were on the 18th floor and the people were able to escape, and Ganesh somehow also escaped, possibly by having a really bad fall.
I was in the hospital, so she was with me.
Our roommates brought him here.
He had fractured 2 of his legs and he had some head trauma. They were unable to afford the extensive and expensive medical care that their cat required in order to survive.
He actually recommended them for us, since we couldn't afford to pay his entire bill, so we needed some help.
That's one of those cases where the clients have lost everything. They don't have any belongings, they don't have any documents. They're in the ER trying to make sure that they're physically okay, and reassuring them that their pet is being taken care of, even though they didn't have finances.
Ebbets Tail helped Ganesh get the treatment that he needed in order to resume a normal life. Its purpose is to provide financial support for people whose animals are experiencing life-threatening but treatable illness.
All his little scars are all healed up. He healed very nicely.
Yeah.
They really had compassion for us because they knew that he was all we had left after the fire. We couldn't salvage any material goods, so the fact that he survived was a miracle for us, and we really thank you guys. We really appreciate it.
My favorite case this year for Positive Tails has been Jackie. Here was this poor cat that was attacked by another animal, sustained a wound in her hind leg, was left to die on the streets, kind of like thousands of other strays out there. Fortunately, a Good Samaritan brought her into VERG South. When they saw that she had a chance to make it through this, even though it may be a long road to recovery, they reached out to Positive Tails. We couldn't say no to poor Jackie. She had a great personality and she's quite the looker.
I was just taking care of her for a few days. Her leg was pretty mangled. Must have been a real bad bite wound.
Unfortunately, we weren't able to save her leg, but by performing amputation, we were able to save her life. And now she doesn't care that she's 3-legged, she runs and plays, and she was able to find a great home.
So we amputated the leg, and I took care of her every morning, and she was just such a nice cat. That's when I said I gotta take her home. She's getting more used to my apartment now. Wakes me up in the morning, rubs her head on my head. She's a good cat.
Jackie's case was treated via Broccoli and Toby's Tail. Broccoli and Toby's Tail is meant to serve the strays of Brooklyn, the ones that don't have anyone to care for them. So if there's a sick or injured stray that has a good prognosis, we'll go ahead and fund their care. Another important aspect of it is we're trying to stem that stray population by initiating a spay and neuter fund.
One thing I'm really proud of that Positive Tails has done in 2015 is greatly expanding the number of spays and neuters that we've been able to perform on dogs and cats.
Well, I was happy with all of the growth we had this year, but I think it's the buzzword for next year too.
First of all, we would love to be able to do more cases.
The more people donate, the more chances we have for other animals and for other families.
I'd really like to see us continue to grow, both in terms of funding as well as awareness to spread the word and message of Positive Tails, even if it's a like, even if it's a share. By doing so, we can increase our reach.
Now, I would love to start working with sister hospitals. There are a lot of great veterinarians out there who are in the same boat we are. They have the goodwill to do a lot of great work. They just don't have the funding to do it. And people can help Positive Tails not just through donating money. Great people who end up donating time for legal work or accounting work or spread the word about Positive Tails to friends, and then we have other people come and help us grow the board.
We also have a junior board for some young professionals in the area to help orchestrate events and social gatherings.
We always have a stand at the Atlantic Annex. It's the biggest street fair in New York City. We have happy hours. We also go to schools and fairs where we can have kids help if they want to pitch in and start giving back to the community at a young age. I don't know that there are words to say thank you to the people who have contributed. To know that there's somebody out there, maybe I've never met them, in all likelihood I've never met them. They've taken the time and donated their money so that we can help these pets.
Positive Tails exists because people like you care about helping animals. Thank you to everyone that's been involved with Positive Tails in 2015.
I can guarantee that your money went to adorable, fantastic pets who are doing so much better and really appreciative clients.
One of the aspects that's been great for me is not just helping the animals, but meeting the people, meeting the families, and see how Positive Tails has helped them as well.
We're working towards the ideal that nobody should ever have to put their dog or cat to sleep because they can't afford to treat an illness.